From the High Definition Educational Broadcast Center at Bergen Community College's main campus in Paramus, this is Studio Bergen. Hi everyone, I'm Larry Levanka and welcome to this month's edition of Studio Bergen, your connection to the state's largest community college. Last month, a national conversation on community colleges came to the forefront when President Barack Obama suggested making all tuition free. While much discussion on this topic remains in the offing, local leaders, including Bergen President Dr. B.K. Walter, Bergen County Executive Jim Tedesco, and U.S. Representative Bill Pascrell gathered at the college to discuss why access and affordability need to be priority topics.
At Bergen, we are doing everything we can to assure Bergen supports student access, affordability, and degree completion. The college will continue to support programs that enhance access to higher education and tuition assistance initiatives that ease the cost borne by our students. Bergen also remains committed to serving as a critical cog in the region's workforce development and putting students on a pathway for success as they enter careers and transfer to four-year institutions.
County Executive Tedesco said Bergen's efforts to serve student success make him proud.
I'm honored to be here standing in the largest community college in the state of New Jersey, an educational institution that has excelled far above when it first started. And I'm proud to lead this county with a facility like this.
Former Bergen valedictorian Carolina Espin also joined the news conference to discuss her journey to Bergen and why it made all the difference.
Bergen Community College offered me a unique education where I was able to explore who I was and who I wanted to become. We learned about other cultures and expanded our understanding of others. This is the place where I learned to make friends, talk to others without shying away, talk to an audience, be more responsible, be more organized, work with others, solve conflicts, to have goals, and achieve them. Bergen gave me the tools I needed in order to be successful in the real world. It gave me the chance to stand out and be somebody, and also help others do the same.
We'll keep you updated on this proposal as it makes its way through local, state, and federal legislators. Undeterred by February's icy grip, Bergen once again celebrated Black History Month with a series of events recognizing the contributions of Black men and women in America. The most unique component, the Encoded Messages Reading African Art exhibition of textiles and sculptures, curated by the Tenafly-based Society of African Missions, a Catholic missionary community, remained on display in the college's Sidney Silverman Library throughout the month. Dr. Roger Mitchell Jr., a forensic pathologist and author, Khalil Gibran Muhammad, Ph.D., director of the New York Public Library Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, and the Reverend M. Francis Manning Fontaine, the senior pastor of Hackensack's New Hope Baptist Church, all visited. The month even featured a day-long conference on hip-hop, which included a discussion on the topic's impact in suburbia. Bergen student Heather Vanderhoff said she can remember her suburban mom's reaction.
My mother could not grasp it. She couldn't understand what the music was about. To her, it wasn't music. They're not singing, they're talking. Exactly, they're talking. They're saying something. Listen to what they're saying.
We'll have sound bites from the month's keynote speaker in next month's episode as the event occurred after the show's production deadline. In other news last month, a group of faculty members received recognition from the League of Innovation in the Community College for their work in creating Developmental Education Council, Bridging Acceleration Initiatives. Iris Bacchino, Lee Janitis, Linda Cass, Kelly Keene, and Melanie Walker collected Bergen's Innovation of the Year Award for the project. The Developmental Education Council aims to enhance student success in developmental education subjects by fostering collaboration and communication on the topics between all members of the Bergen community. Selected by a panel of peers among 4 other faculty and staff projects, The group received a $750 award from the Bergen Community College Foundation to further support the project. Speaking of award-winning professors, in this month's Faculty Focus, we sat down with Professor Barbara Davis, who recently secured the John and Sue Ann Rausch Excellence Award, also sponsored by the League. Professor Davis has helped lead the rollout of the Science Infusion program, which blends the study of science and English by using a singular topic in both disciplines.
We have a national urgency to get people more involved in science, and I think as we see the benefits of having a more literate society, a more science literate society, people are less likely to do that. They're less likely to read about science because they don't like science. But it is very beneficial to get students interested on a level that is not just memorizing, and it's using the information. So for example, I teach a course, Introduction to Human Biology, and students come in saying, I hate this. I hate science, I have to do it, I'm sorry. And they do what they have to do, but my goal is for them to understand the body, the human body, and what happens in health and in disease. And someday they're going to have to face a physician and say a family member or they are sick and this is the issue, and they need to be empowered to ask questions, to understand what they're saying. And after my class and after you study science and the process of science, what we hope is that students are empowered to evaluate data, ask for the evidence, so they would be less likely to be duped.
Davis said the idea began small.
It's really not a one-size-fits-all. What happens is that if you're the English teacher, you might have a particular interest. You might be interested in sustainability, or you might be interested in medicine or something. And so each English professor has their own niche and their own area of interest that they'd like to bring into their classroom. So the program has always been sponsored by the GPS STEM grant, and Dean Ricotta has been very supportive of this. And so he said, you know what, why don't we set up individual partnerships? So if the English professor is interested in sustainability, then we'll reach out to a science person who has the same interest, and we'll partner them up, and they'll have, each class will have a science support on the science faculty member side, and then we'll use the expertise of the English professor to come into the science class.
The professor, who began at Bergen as an adjunct in the mid-1990s and became full-time 16 years ago, explained how the project works.
We're using the expertise of the English professor to help the science students in reading and writing support, and this English professor selects a science as topic as content, and the science professor comes in, talks a little bit about the basics that they need to know to understand whatever they're reading. And it's worked out very, very well.
She said the program promotes better outcomes for science students.
We started the Science Infusion program with one partnership in the spring of 2014, Professor Ellen Feig and I, and we studied malaria as a global health problem. And Professor Feig happens to have a big interest in this, and she's on a board of a malaria organization, and I'm very interested in global health. So we worked on that, and we had a speaker come in on Malaria Awareness Day, and we had students interview the speaker from both classes, and it was very exciting. I think the students really got involved with that.
Humbled by the award, she thinks she's living a dream.
I love to teach. I love the students. That's primarily why I teach, and we have great students at Bergen. I like what I do, and I like sharing my expertise. And it's really great to be in a classroom and have a student say, I never thought of it that way, or yeah, I think I could use it. And just, we've done a lot of outreach to different professionals, and now we're starting to outreach to students around the world. And it makes such a difference when we see students become better students. And we see them reach out to other students, and a light bulb clicks on, and it's like, wow, this is unbelievable. And then to hear we've had a lot of very big compliments about our students, so it's just great. It's a great job. Best job ever.
Coming up after a short break, we'll take a look at other stories making news at Bergen. We'll be right back.
Join New Jersey Sharing Network for 2 fun-filled events, including a 5K, music, awards, prizes, and exciting activities for all ages. And help us celebrate the greatest gift, the gift of life, through organ and tissue donation. Sign up and create your team today.
Sharing Network rocks.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to Studio Bergen. I'm Larry Levanka. Students enrolled in some performing arts classes this spring are in for a real showstopper. The college has secured a Fulbright Scholar in Residence. Rafael Buncato, seen here at a recent meet and greet, is the artistic director of the Paris-based Zafrio Theater Company. He will teach 2 classes and host workshops for Bergen students. He plans to visit with the senior citizens enrolled in the Institute for Learning in Retirement program as well. Professor Jim Baumgartner remained instrumental in bringing Buncato to the college as part of a shared agreement with the Ramapo College of New Jersey. He said it's an exciting opportunity for students and the college community.
We'll have the talent here to share with our students, our community, our faculty and staff is just a great experience. Rafael comes from Argentina but teaches and has his own theater company in France, so bring him in as a Fulbright Scholar is just so rewarding for us to think outside of our classrooms and to bring somebody like that in, and so we're just so looking forward to having him here all semester, and sharing him with Ramapo College has been a great collaboration as well.
Buncato, a Buenos Aires, Argentina native who moved to France as an adult, has owned the Zafiro Theater Company since 1998, where working with masks and physical theater remain his specialty. The scholar in residence will live at Ramapo during his spring semester stay. He also will direct a show at the Mahwah Institution. Also last month, an annual tradition returned to the college, Give Kids a Smile Day, a popular community outreach activity conducted by the Dental Hygiene Program. As part of the event, children receive free oral exams from program students. Local resident Elizabeth Benducci said it was important to bring her children.
They need to take care of their teeth for their dental health because it affects their whole body, and it's good for them, to start early to keep good habits so they have them for the rest of their life.
Future Give Kids a Smile Days will be hosted in the Health Professions Integrated Teaching Center, currently under construction at the main campus. Students, faculty, and staff gathered February 19th for the Bergen Leaders Bystander Training and Green Dot Prevention Strategy event that aimed to empower those who observe violence or stalking. Sponsored by the college's Violence Intervention and Prevention Center, the Center for Hope and Safety, and the YWCA Bergen County Healing Space, groups broke into teams during various exercises and activities discussing the topic. Program facilitator and Green Dot coordinator Jessica Peacock said it's time to bring this issue out of the shadows.
Today we're hoping to spread the word that rates of violence continue and we need to try something and do some preventative measure. So that's kind of what we're here to talk about today, is reducing that and everyone taking part and realizing that everyone can make a difference and that everyone should make a difference.
Another issue that may lurk in the shadows but affects larger numbers of men and women each year, post-traumatic stress disorder, is the topic of our next story. David Morris, a former Marine and war correspondent, visited campus to discuss his book, The Evil Hours, and the impact of PTSD on soldiers and really society as a whole.
PTSD is certainly not the most bright and sunny of subject matters, but one that's in a sense sort of inescapable from American life. As Christine mentioned, it's the 4th most common psychiatric disorder in the United States. And furthermore, it's one of them, in terms of the people and the spread and the likelihood you are to know somebody with PTSD, only 1% of the American population serves in the military these days, and only about 12 to 15% of those who serve end up with diagnosable post-traumatic stress disorder. But to put it into a slightly greater perspective, about 18.7% of all American women will experience being raped or being in an attempted rape situation, and about half of all of rape survivors end up with diagnosable PTSD. So chances are you don't, not only do you probably know one person who has PTSD, you probably know several, and whether or not that their condition is known to you, that is still a fact of life in the way we live today. So that's something just to kind of keep in the back of your mind.
Unwitting victims of the terrorist group Boko Haram, nearly 300 Nigerian schoolgirls were abducted last year. Their plight is featured in the latest Gallery Bergen exhibition, Running Girls. Artist Mary Mihalik seeks to convey the strength and courage of those who escaped through the 28 featured pieces. Located on the 3rd floor of West Hall at Bergen's main campus, the public gallery is open Tuesdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesdays, 2 to 6 p.m., Thursdays, 2 to 8 p.m., and Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Meanwhile, in this month's Sustainability Minute, we took a trip up to Mahwah on what was literally the coldest day of the year to talk about, well, nothing says a garden like below freezing temperatures.
Hi, my name is Rachel Wieland, and this is Sustainability Minute. For many years, Bergen Community College has been collaborating with Eric Fuchs-Stengel, the Executive Director of MEVO, a nonprofit environmental organization. He is the winner of many awards and honors, including the prestigious Jefferson Award. Speaking for myself and many others that I know, he is the most forward-thinking, the most determined, and the most inspiring person we know. Today he's going to show us the 2-acre farm and educational building that has been donated to him by Bergen County Parks. I'm looking forward to seeing the students here, farming and learning.
I'm Eric Fuchs-Stengel, and welcome to the MEVO farm. Today we're out here in the beautiful winter. The farm is covered with snow, so it doesn't look like much. But this spring, starting in March, we'll be building a 2-acre farm out here at Camp Call Reservation in Mahwah, New Jersey, to act as a community space for organic agriculture and sustainability education. Here we are at the MEVO Lodge. This beautiful space was graciously donated by the Bergen County Parks Department and the County of Bergen. It will be used for educational programs focused on sustainability, organic agriculture, and beekeeping throughout the coming spring and summer. This space needs a lot of work because it's a 1970s ski lodge that needs to be refurbished, and we're looking for volunteers to help with this and the MEVO farm. If you'd like to volunteer, please go to our website, www.mevoearth.org. That's www.mevoearth.org, and sign up to volunteer. Thank you guys so much.
In this month's campus calendar, prospective students and their parents will have an opportunity to learn more about the NJ STARS program, which provides free tuition at community colleges for high-achieving students, Thursday, March 12th, from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Moses Family Meeting and Training Center at main campus. Just days before St. Patrick's, Irish folk rockers the McLean Avenue Band will play the Anna Maria Saccone Theater Saturday, March 14th at 7:30 p.m. To purchase tickets, visit tickets.bergen.edu or call 201-447-7428. In the featured event celebrating Women's History Month, author Terry Tempest Williams will visit Friday, March 27th at 1:30 p.m. in the Anna Maria Saccone Theater. In our Student Success Spotlight this month, we welcome 2 student leaders that have become intricately involved in the college's Middle State Self-Study process by participating in a student working group that is outlining issues important to students at the college as the college navigates its once-every-decade accreditation process. The students are Jonathan Silva and Monica Michalik, and they join me on the set. Thanks for being here, John and Monica.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Obviously, you take it upon yourselves to get involved in this very important process for the college. Why do that?
I think the biggest reason why we did it was we wanted to be a part of something that's going to influence students in the future, because it all has to do with us, which is what I also found is beneficial to all of my friends also, because it has to do with everyone. It has to do with the faculty and it has to do with the students.
How about you, John?
I think it's always important for students to be involved in their school, to make a positive difference, as Monica said. And I think it's especially important that when the opportunity presents itself for us to get involved, that the school is able to know the student perspective.
How about the commitment that goes along with that, though?
Winter break was shortened for me. I think when you're passionate about something, it's not work for you. It's something that you're collaborating with awesome people like Monica, like our Professor Fernandez, Professor Chiwari. So it becomes something almost like a family, something fun to do.
Did you miss winter break, Monica, or no?
Parts of it, but I felt it was needed. It was necessary.
And I think that's the point, right? This is something that is important, and you're learning a lot about the college that probably a lot of other students have no idea about. So I guess that kind of speaks to, I said it earlier, not only is this important, but you kind of have burdened yourselves by something that carries a lot of weight. Just talk about that for a little bit.
Well, I think we take the responsibility very serious. We understand that the work that we're doing now will help influence the work available for students 10 years down the line when accreditation comes to fruition again. So I think we want to set up the standards and we want to do a good job this time, and we take our responsibility, I think, with pleasure, I think.
Exactly, and it's also fun because we're working with people who are very dedicated. The student working team, there's a lot of dedication, and you see that they care and they have their issues that they want to focus on, student issues that they just want to shift their focus to, and it shows. It shows that they're passionate about something.
So who else is part of your team?
Well, it's Jonathan. Natalia is my team partner. We're working on the student retention rate. And there's also...
We have Dr. Yoon Kim. We have Professor Gail Fernandez and Professor Sonia Tiwari.
Talk about student perspective. Obviously, looking at the college, whether issues that the college may have or things that the college does really well through a student lens is going to be very different than perhaps somebody in the administration or a staff member or faculty would. So talk about that a little bit, bringing the student voice to this process.
I think especially with my research, I did research not only on alumni, but also on the process of self-identification and registration orientation. It's one thing to understand that students may have difficulty understanding certain portions of the registration. I think it adds first-hand experience. We know students who have been going through the self-identification process. We know students who are alumni. So we know firsthand how that feels, and that adds a new layer, a new context for the self-study review.
Monica, any thoughts on perspective?
Well, I think it's the same way with how we can't know what the faculty are having problems with. It's the same way with faculty don't know every detail that the students are having problems with. So I found that we're around students, so we have a greater insight as to what the problems actually are. Like, we're working on how the school is not advertising enough about Bergen events, and we know that firsthand. Sometimes we don't know what's coming up, and then we're left out. We miss out on a great opportunity. So that's just, I feel like it's more personal to us.
What else? You talked about, that's one thing that has come to light. What else have you found so far as part of your working group?
I think I was most shocked that a lot of students are dropping out of Bergen because of financial aid problems. And I feel like that shouldn't be a problem today, because a lot of the students I meet, most of the students I meet, are extremely dedicated to this school. They want to learn. They may not always know what their major is, but they're here for a reason. So I feel like they should have the ability to continue their education.
I think for me it was more a positive surprise. I was just pleasantly surprised that in the self-registration process, how attentive the college really was to the needs of the students. When it came to veterans being able to self-identify, the college identified a need that student has and changed the registration form to include a checkbox for veterans. So for me, it was surprising to see how really the college is working to remedy, to self-assess, listen to students, and change what it needs to change to make it more smooth.
You talk about a surprise. Monica, did you find anything that was a big shock, or is everything, being that you are a student and no other students, you expected to find some of these things?
Well, I think my expectation was that the research was going to be there, available to us. But the thing is that a lot of the questions that we want to find answers to, they're very personal to students. So there's no data based on that. Like the question, why are students dropping out of Bergen? What's the main problem? There's not a lot of specific information because it's personal to students. But it has been interesting finding it out because we have found information and it's very interesting.
Let's start to tie that to the next piece. What have you found so far that really summarizes your report or what your group has worked on?
Well, like I said, the biggest thing that I found is that students are leaving Bergen, are not continuing their education. They're dropping out because of financial aid issues. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the financial aid office doesn't answer a lot of questions and is putting limitations on students by giving them financial aid for only a few semesters. I believe that's 6 semesters. And everybody's experience is different, so they're limited by that. So that was very shocking to me.
I think for me, I found primarily 3 results. I found that as I said before, that the school is attentive and is changing its self-registration process from feedback that students give. Also, I found that the school is heavily investing more so these past few years on alumni affairs. We know from national research that peer-led mentoring is very effective with students. So it's good to see that the school is trying to include alumni mentors. And I just want to see that process move along and see alumni and students be involved in the decision-making process, which they are.
So what's the next step with the student working group?
Well, right now my team is going to be focusing, Natalia and me, we're going to be focusing on why a lot of students are having trouble transferring their credits to a 4-year college, because a lot of the credits, I believe it's 9% of students have less than 50 credits accepted to a 4-year college. So we're going to be finding out why those credits are not transferable.
I think one big priority for me is definitely trying to recruit other students, trying to establish that culture in the college that students should get involved and the students need to get involved and seize these opportunities to influence school policy.
So I guess this wraps it all up, but was this a positive experience? You glad that you did it, or would you have rather have had that winter break and some more time to yourself?
My friends actually went to upstate New York. I wish I went with them. It was not it's a necessarily easy experience, but it was one that was well worth it. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be involved.
I feel the same way, even if I'm just making an impact in some very tiny, small way, and I feel proud of that because we're working hard and we care about what we're doing because it influences all the students. So we feel proud of it.
And I think that's the point. The time that you've put into this is incredibly beneficial to the college. You've provided a wonderful service. And again, coming back to that student perspective, we can't do it without you guys. We're the reason you're here. So we thank you. And on behalf of the college, I say thank you. So thanks for being here today and thanks for participating in this process.
Thank you very much.
That wraps up this month's edition. Thank you for watching. For Bergen Community College, I'm Larry Levanka. Thanks and take care.